3, 2, 1. I'm not a Gnelf. I'm not a Gnoblin. I'm a Gnome. And you've been gnomed. Hey everybody, this is Sardonicast. I'm Adam from Your Movie Sucks.
I'm Ralph from YouTube.com/Ralph the Movie Maker.
And I'm Alex from I Gnome Everything.
Oh no.
We're joined by a special guest.
It is I, Elvis the Alien.
Hello. Wow. What planet are you from, Mr. Alien?
Uranus.
Oh, had that one lined up.
Hey.
That was quick. Yeah, I like that.
Whatever, you got no
before.
So I actually just want to confirm with everybody here that everybody knows what the You've Been Gnomed thing is, right?
I don't.
No,
You don't?
not you, Ralph?
No.
You're missing out, dude.
I was thinking, yeah, based on the reactions I was hearing, I didn't think Ralph. You two were both laughing. It's a stupid, basically, it was what is now replaced the Rick roll, but it's I mean, not just now, it's been going on for a couple years now. And the video itself was created like probably 10 years ago, but nobody bothered to watch it until people decided to use it for that purpose, because Rick roll isn't cool anymore, you know? Like politicians started using it.
And also copyright issues, I think.
Yeah, that too,
like the music, actually using the music, the videos kept getting deleted.
Yeah. The gnome thing is kind of funny. I like it a lot.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
It's such a weird video. It's so genuinely like, it's just genuine.
Yeah, exactly.
It seems like
Gnome.
the gnome. It's just bloody weird.
It's very bizarre. Before we get into some questions about our guests, I kind of want to. I'm curious, Alex. How are you feeling now? Because you were pretty sick last episode.
Yeah, and I got some very nice support from listeners and whatnot. But I'm okay now.
People
fingers
were
crossed,
worried.
touch wood. Yeah,
Dude,
yeah. I mean, it's a
worst
scary
time.
time. Yeah, exactly. But I'm okay now, it seems. So I was scared because you messaged me, Adam, saying that you were hearing stories about after 10 days it can get way worse.
I didn't mean to make you like paranoid or
so
anything.
I was like, oh my god, I hadn't heard that.
I'm like, I'm one of the most paranoid people on the planet, so maybe I'm not like the best to listen to in terms of these situations. But
no, 10 days passed and I didn't instantly die, so I'm all right.
Okay. All right. Well, glad to hear you're doing better.
Thank you.
You guys had some questions for the guest? I figured out what planet he's from, so.
Well, my brother is a huge fan of yours, so he sent me some questions.
No way.
Yeah.
What?
And he told me you watch Devs too, which we'll talk about.
Yeah.
But so he has a question right here. What's your favorite Nick Cage movie?
Oh shit.
I'm a Nick Cage aficionado too, so I love talking about the Cage.
I think Mom and Dad is probably my favorite.
Really?
He's so ridiculous in that movie.
Well, do you mean like, because there's genuinely great Nick Cage movies, and then there's like the meme performances, like Vampire's Kiss. Like that one's my favorite.
Do you mean that he's the best in that movie, or do you mean that the movie itself with him in it is good?
I just feel like he's the most entertaining.
Oh.
Like the movie isn't good.
No, yeah, I agree with you. It's not very good. It's kind of awful.
But entertainment value and how good a movie is for me can sometimes be really different. Like I can really enjoy something, but also know it's shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course.
And that's
a good thing to be able to do. Did you ever see Vampire's Kiss?
Yeah, that's a classic. Because Cage is one of those actors that like he could be really good in something genuinely like adaptation, or he could be really like, I mean, not even bad. Bad's not the right word, but just out there, like Vampire's Kiss and Mom and Dad and Bad Lieutenant, like just crazy shit that just makes no sense.
You can never say that he didn't give it his all. Yeah. He's 100% in every role. Even if it's in the wrong direction, he's at full speed.
Yeah, that's what I love about him. He like screams for no reason and shit. It's crazy.
He loves screaming.
I think we forgot to ask a very important question. Who the fuck are you, Elvis?
Oh,
what do you do?
My channel has morphed over time, like an anamorph.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird. Like I started out as a gaming channel, if you can believe it, like 6 years ago, and then I became a commentary channel, like a regular like Leave Is Here like cancer channel, basically. And then
just throwing everybody under the bus, aren't you?
And then I slowly evolved into slightly better content, but then I started like harassing YouTubers with like making them give me their pictures so I can like troll people on Tinder with them. Either that or like I force them to come on my series called People Ruin Everything, where I make them like read really awful fan fiction based on a popular thing.
Mm-hmm.
I did that to Alex, actually.
Yeah, it was Alien, right? That was a beautiful piece of art. You made me read, man.
I love that. Yeah, and now I'm starting to go more into movie stuff. So yeah, I don't really have anything that really defines me. I guess like next month I'll probably be doing documentaries or something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. Let's change it up. Demand's changed too, so.
Yeah, it's true.
YouTube is a forever changing world.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but like movie reviews stay around. Like throughout the entire course of this website, I've seen so many trends come and go, like prank channels or whatever. But like movie review channels, they've always been there and they've always stayed.
Because people are
like
always
Jeremy
watching
Jahns
movies.
has been doing the same, but he's been doing the same thing for like years, and it's still it's still
Nostalgia
going.
Critic.
Still kicking.
Yeah,
Yeah, everybody
kicking it with that wall review.
kicking down the wall.
God,
Beautiful.
so bad.
It's the best. What are you talking about?
Didn't you, Alex? You made a video on that with your other podcast, right? That was funny.
Yeah. We were so infuriated by it. We were really impassioned and just had to talk about it.
I watched that
Yeah.
again recently, actually. Like the review.
The whole thing.
Yeah, and I read some articles on
Again?
it. Actually, well,
Wait.
I mean, I was just like, I couldn't sleep, and so I needed something to kind of just, skip through on my
Put
phone.
you to
I
sleep.
guess.
Oh, okay. I see how it is.
I don't know. And so, like, it wasn't happening. So it's just like, oh, what was this again?
Yeah.
And I needed to refresh myself on it. And I realized that according to some article, and I'd fact check this later, that the computer animated character was like a pre-existing character from another channel, basically. That
Yeah,
they
yeah.
threw in
Yeah, I
there,
found
which I
that
didn't know
out
before.
after.
Yeah, it's like very interesting. So the character model was already done, and they just made like this weird cameo that doesn't even fit.
And isn't explained or introduced. Yeah. It's very confusing.
Yeah.
The amount of work they put into that video is absurd, you know?
That's the thing.
And
Like,
it
you
still
can
wasn't
bust the
enough.
critic's balls as much as you want, but he's
Yeah.
a hard worker, to say the least.
Like, imagine putting like like a month into a video and everyone hated it. I'd
It seemed like he put more than a month.
Yeah.
It seemed like an epic project. I mean, it was still
Yeah.
a failure, but I don't even
Yeah.
want to give him credit.
It sucks and you should feel bad.
Yeah.
Don't bully, guys. Cool cat says no bully.
It's not bullying. I'm just criticizing his content.
Mm.
You should make better videos.
It's criticism.
It is. I think
I
YouTube
don't hate him as
is
a
a
person.
valid art form, and so you can criticize art forms on the platform, just like
Right.
criticizing movies.
You'll have criticism of criticism.
It exists. It
Yeah.
exists.
Yeah.
And soon
The
there will
rabbit
be
hole never
criticism
ends.
of that criticism. Yeah, it'll be a rabbit hole of criticism.
It's just a never-ending spiral.
Like the Saw movie.
Yeah, the best spiral.
It's so weird how people can like watching a critique of something more than watching the actual thing that they're critiquing.
Oh, yeah.
Like that happens a lot with bad movies, especially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So
because you just
weird.
condense it into a little chunk, easy to digest. You don't have to sit down for 2 hours and watch,
Right.
whatever it is.
That's why I try not
Yeah.
to say very much about the movies that I actually enjoy if I'm recommending them in a quickie sort of thing. It's like I don't want to
Yeah.
provide like an alternative to the experience.
Mhm.
I don't want to describe
Yeah.
the whole plot if I really enjoy it. I want to kind of let people experience that for themselves. Whereas if it's a movie
That's why
where I'm
it's so
actively
hard.
telling people not to watch it, I might I might try to help them get a bit of the experience or try to explain what that is in the review. Oh man, this fucking Kimba review is just tearing me apart. Only a couple more weeks. Anyway, you had some more questions, Ralph?
No, I didn't.
Oh, I
We
thought
have
you
some
said.
questions from the Reddit.
Oh, okay.
I've
Well,
got
my
one.
brother had that one. Yeah? Go ahead.
Yeah, Elvis, what's your favorite piece of media to ingest while you've ingested some of that sweet, goodness, if you know what I'm saying? Wink, wink. It's not legal here, so I can't say.
Are you talking like just Rule 34 of anything?
Is it illegal
Rule
to
34.
ask
Oh, no, I
someone
meant
about
weed.
weed?
No.
In your
No.
country, Alex?
I was gonna say Madagascar, but
Oh, nice choice. Which one of the three? Or all of them?
The third is the best for sure.
Hell
Thank you.
yeah.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Did you guys plan this out before?
No.
Brutal.
We got another one.
But yeah, weed's good.
Yeah, it is for some movies. I'm trying. You know what's a good one? Lawrence of Arabia. You wouldn't think so.
Really?
Yeah, but like you sit there the whole 3 hours, you're like, that was fucking epic.
Huh.
Yeah.
The Holy Mountain is a good weed movie.
I feel like you don't need any drugs for that movie.
You
watch it
don't
so
need
good.
any drugs for any movie, really.
No, for some movies you need them.
Really.
Last Airbender.
Oh,
Yeah, half of Nick Cage's catalog
I love
you probably need.
The Last Airbender sober. You can watch it
stand
sober.
that
It's
fucking-
still just as good. You can watch Fateful Findings sober. It's great.
Yeah, Fateful Findings is a good one.
Mm-hmm.
So how about this, Elvis? Let's hear your favorite and your least favorite movie, just for a bit of context so people understand your tastes.
My least favorite movie?
And your favorite, just both sides of the spectrum.
Oh my god.
What springs to your mind?
Like least of all time?
Yeah, what's your
Yeah,
gut
something
reaction?
that really, your gut reaction.
Wait, what's it called? Open House? Is that what it's called? That movie sucks ass. I think that's what it's called.
Open House. I've never heard of.
It's called The Open House. It's
The
like a
Open
Netflix
House.
movie.
Okay.
Oh, is it got the 13 Reasons Why guy in it?
Yeah, it's so
Dylan Minnette.
bad.
Oh,
yeah, I've seen that,
I
but I
saw the
forgot I'd
trailer
watched
for
it.
it. It looks like it
I've
could
seen
be
your
funny.
video on it.
Yeah.
It's really boring. They just throw in like
Yeah.
a bunch of jump scare sound effects. It's so dull.
Honestly, terrible. If you ask my favorite movie this year,
Or ever.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
ever.
or ever.
I mean, what's
is
one
really
of
hard
your
to just say
favorite
one.
movies?
I really like the movie Moon
Oh, yeah.
with
Sam Rockwell.
Sam Rockwell. Yeah, I think he's really underrated as an actor.
Yeah, he's awesome.
I watched that randomly just out of nowhere, and I ended up really liking it. I watched it like immediately a second time. I don't think it hit everybody the same way, but for whatever reason, I really liked it.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't it come out around the writers' strikes?
Yeah.
Do you remember that year there were the writers' strikes, and it was like one of the gems that year?
Yeah, there was.
2009.
I don't remember if it was specifically a writer's strike. I think it was like even more general than that, because I remember hearing
was it?
that's how Duncan Jones was able to get like really cheap animation, like quality animation on a budget. So I don't know what that would have to do with writing, but I don't know. I could be wrong, but I remember hearing that like there might have been a more general strike or something. I have no idea, but I remember it applied to the animation in some way, the computer animation.
Oh, right. Kevin Spacey's in that movie. Voices of
Oh
Robot.
yeah.
Oh
He's a robot.
yeah,
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Our good friend Kevin Spacey.
Yeah, friend of the podcast.
Oh God.
So you wanted to talk about
Devs. There's this show Devs that's on. It's FX Hulu, so I guess FX and Hulu made it together or some shit. But it's great. It's from the guy who directed the movie we're going to talk about, Ex Machina, and it's like a mini series. It's not a full show. I don't think it's going to have a season 2 or anything. But we've all seen it, or most of us have,
everybody but me.
and it's great.
Sorry.
Yeah, everybody. It's long. I don't blame you. It's Plus, you're not like the hugest fan of Ex Machina.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed Ex Machina and Annihilation.
I like Alex Garland. I'll for sure check out this show.
Yeah.
I don't dislike Alex Garland, that's for sure.
It has some Alex Garland isms, the show, that's like annoying.
Okay.
And like some threads from Ex Machina that are like exactly the same or like similar. And it's it's like kind of going through the same bag of tricks again, it feels like.
Mm-hmm.
But it's really good and it's really smart and everything you'd expect from him. Like it looks fucking gorgeous. Like the sets and everything, like especially the main like devs room where they're developing the technology.
Yeah.
That room's amazing.
Really cool.
It's like floating cube thing. Yeah.
I found it very haunting, like very scary for whatever reason. Like the idea that we can basically the general gist, I don't want to like give any spoilers, but they make a computer that can like predict the future and it can like look into the past and stuff. It's like a really complex algorithm.
Yeah.
And like it's so complex that it's like 100% accurate and it's super scary to watch because you're kind of thinking about your own reality while you're watching it, and you're like, this is like, what if this is possible? It's fucked up. But that's just what I was thinking.
Yeah. And that idea that you're cemented into your fate like that. Like, this is what's going to happen to you. There's no escape from it. It's really scary.
Okay.
All of his movies are like, there's this science fiction element, but it's really creepy what he's exploring with it. These things, these concepts that you'd never really think about.
I like that.
And it makes you feel like so small and helpless. And all of his movies do that. I love that.
Yeah. Especially when it delves into the kind of multiverse type thing. The way it displays it visually, I thought was really creative and interesting. And like you say, it is really thought-provoking. Like, I don't think the plot is anything that special or interesting, but it is propped up by, that kind of scientific concept that really does get you thinking. It's all like thinky type movies, like Garland's, most of his stuff is actually. And by the end, it is really quite creepy and gets under your skin.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it has multiverses. Interesting. I was going to ask if, like, they built basically this like program or like this machine that can like predict the future or something.
Yeah, it's like it's basically a TV screen.
Okay. Do
and
they
you just watch it?
Explain the mechanics of it at all? Does it like measure every molecule in the universe or something?
Yeah, it's basically creating a simulation out of molecules in the universe.
Okay.
And it is predicting where they're going to go and where they've been. And it creates a whole algorithm on that.
Okay,
so
that's cool.
It
I like
kind
that.
of makes sense. Yeah,
I'm like kind of a determinist anyway, so
it drills the idea into your head that like you don't make any choices. You know, everything that you do is predicted and like will happen. So it's just it fucks with your head. It's crazy.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah, the main girl, the protagonist in the show is
Lily
in
Chan.
she's in Ex Machina.
Okay.
Yeah,
she's
Asian robot.
Yeah.
In Ex Machina, I forgot her name.
Kyoko.
How did you feel about her? Because a lot of people I see are whinging about her performance and the character in general. How did you guys feel about that? Yeah, like I thought she was definitely one of the like least interesting characters out of the bunch, but she's completely necessary for the like mechanics of the story to work. And I didn't have too many problems with her performance. Every now and again, there's a little thing that might have annoyed me, but it didn't ruin the experience for me or anything.
Yeah, I noticed in the credits they had an accent coach or like a dialogue coach. Maybe that was for her. Or like, I don't know.
Possibly.
Her performance at times was a little distracting. But I wouldn't say she was bad the whole time.
The heart of it is Nick Offerman, I reckon. Yeah. He was my favorite character by far.
Oh,
he was really interesting, but you couldn't make him the main character because then, like,
no.
I don't know, he's a little too out there. I really like Kenton, his former CIA bodyguard. That was a really interesting character, I thought.
Yeah, he reminded me of Kevin Spacey, weirdly. Like, voice in his face really reminded me of him.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's the hair.
How about her boyfriend or whatever, her ex-boyfriend, who's like playing Dark Souls and pauses it.
Oh yeah.
I was like, what the fuck? You can't pause Dark Souls. That's horseshit.
Yeah.
But,
you're true. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
I found his whole what
Plot
happens
hole.
with his character a little predictable, but I liked him. He was okay. It's really not a character piece as much as it is about that science fiction concept, and like that's the more interesting stuff. I thought.
I don't think Garland. I don't know. His characters aren't what makes any of his movies good to me. Like they're kind of vessels to show off these scientific concepts in a way.
Yeah,
he's all about themes.
Mm-hmm.
right.
Yeah, lots of
themes
like
really well.
literary references, like all of this stuff, poems and biblical kind of references, which are satisfying to put together.
I think the strongest characters in his movies are the ones that like the actor just brings a lot to it, like Oscar Isaac in Ex Machina, or in this you have Nick Offerman and Kenton and all these really good actors. Who's the girl? She plays Kim in Scott Pilgrim. That's how I know.
Oh
her.
yeah,
she was good too.
I don't know the actor's name, but yeah, she was good. Although I don't know if it needed to be 8 episodes. Honestly, I feel like it sagged a bit in the middle.
One of those.
Personally, I
Could
could
have
have
been a
done with
movie.
it being tightened up a little bit. Whereas I kind of feel the opposite of like Ex Machina, which we'll get into in a bit.
Who was the actor that played the that kid who was fired from Devs?
Yeah, he's like the prodigy, young genius kid.
They're in
cracks
that
the code.
Pacific Rim movie, that really bad one. the sequel.
Oh.
I liked her little like the whole bridge thing. I liked that a lot. That was cool.
Yeah,
It's
the
really well
conclusion for that character was really interesting and like hammered home the theory stuff.
I'm trying really hard not to spoil anything, so I'm just not saying anything.
Yeah, you can be
the scene
vague
where he's on the
about
bridge.
it. I mean, like, I don't know. If you want to go into a spoiler discussion, as long as you just say beforehand, that's fine. I'm not like the type of person that really gives too much of a shit about being spoiled. Like, it's more about like the presentation and experience for me. But
And
so
the
if there was
context,
something
too.
you wanted to, talk about, go for it.
If it were me, I wouldn't want it spoiled for me. So like, if I don't want something spoiled for me, I won't spoil it for someone else.
Okay.
But I don't know. I just feel like I'm probably more of a fan of Alex Garland's stuff than you guys. Maybe, I don't know. I really loved Annihilation. I'm a big fan of Ex Machina. I love this show too.
I just enjoy something that has a voice like this. That's very clear. It has like a director's vision, but it's a show. It's a series.
Yeah.
And that's becoming like more common now, and I like that.
And I love that it was short. It wasn't like dragged on. If they did a season 2, it'd completely ruin it. You know what I mean?
He said if he's gonna do a season 2 or some other thing, it would be totally different.
Yeah, as it should be.
Are you a fan of the screenplays that he's written for Danny Boyle?
I don't know what that is.
Sunshine,
Which ones
28
are
Days
those?
Later.
28 days.
Yeah, 28 Days Later.
Oh yeah, I like 28 Days Later a lot. Yeah, that's probably one of my favorite time movies actually.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's a great
He
one.
also
28
wrote
Weeks is good
a
too.
video game called Enslaved: Odyssey to the West, and I have that on PS3,
Yeah.
but I haven't actually like played the whole thing yet.
I've
I'm
played
thinking of
that.
doing it sometime.
Ooh.
Yeah.
How's that?
It's pretty good. It's like a loose adaptation of that Chinese monkey tale. You know the one I'm on
Monkey's
about.
Paw?
Yeah, with like Pigsy and all that, and he rides like a cloud and stuff like
okay.
that.
I don't know if that's the same thing I was thinking.
Oh, I don't know how it would hold up now. It was kind of one of those like mid-tier kind of games where it was just like quite short, didn't go too crazy, but it was interesting. And Andy Serkis played the main characters, so that was a pretty good performance from memory.
How about,
He also did he wrote
Dread?
Dread and apparently directed the movie.
Oh, what?
Really?
He apparently yeah. According
No, he
to
didn't.
Carl Urban. No. According to Carl Urban, he is basically responsible for the movie coming together.
Okay.
Kind of like the way Spielberg is known for directing Poltergeist. It's kind of that sort of situation.
Okay. So Pete Travis is listed as the director on IMDb,
Yeah.
but
Well-
But I was reading through, I think the wiki or on IMDb, and apparently that's the case. And I'd heard that before.
so Pete
Could be
Travis is
wrong,
a
but-
big phony.
Hack fraud. You want to rate the show now? I don't have anything spoilery to say except there's a plot line involving, I'll be very vague, Russians. That was a little much. But beside from that,
Yeah, it
it
didn't go
just felt
anywhere.
kind of out of place. Yeah, it didn't go anywhere, right? And it was so silly compared to the rest of it. Because
Yeah.
you're dealing with like these Silicon Valley people, and it's very much like, on top of all this other stuff about fate, you have Nick Offerman's character, who's like this ridiculous billionaire who's dealing with a lot of personal stuff, and he's just unloading money onto this godlike project without any concern for the repercussions of it. It's because, it's his own delusion and want for power, and that destroys him in the end. That was super cool too.
Yeah.
I think the whole show's great. You want to give it a rating? I'd give it an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, same, probably.
Yeah.
Or, I don't know, maybe a 9.
9?
Yeah, I pretty much agree entirely with your review you wrote on Letterboxd, Ralph. I think that's a pretty good summary of it. I don't know if I give it 4-star. I'm kind of torn between a 7 and an 8 kind of rating for me, just because of I watched like 6 episodes in a row, and then I just like did some other stuff for a bit and wasn't compelled to rush back to it or anything. So I didn't think it was particularly stellar, aside from the like production and the theory side of it and all that. But it is still very good. A very nice, thoughtful piece of science fiction. So yeah, I'm gonna settle on a 7.
Beautiful. Thanks for reading my review.
If you watch 7 episodes in a row of anything, then it's a pretty good show, I think.
I guess.
I loved the music too in this. he uses music really well, both weird like avant-garde sci-fi music that you'd expect out of 2001 or something, and then like just like rock music, like or alternative. That's like, oh, that fits. It really works.
It was with the same composer as Annihilation, and I really like the music in that movie. I think it's really really striking and creepy.
Yeah, the soundtrack in Annihilation is great. That's for sure. I've heard it used in like a bunch of YouTube videos at this point. There's this really funny Wendy Williams show edit where like it turned into like the ending of the Suspiria remake by the end of it. It was really, really funny. I'll link you that one later.
Okay.
It's so funny. All right, did you want to move on to Ex Machina?
Mm-hmm. So that's Devs. Congrats, Alex Garland. We'll move on to another movie he made.
You did it.
Called Ex Machina.
Spoiler discussion, everybody. Spoiler discussion for this movie.
It is from... Let me pull it up here.
2014?
Yeah. Very good. You got a better memory. And it stars Alicia Vikander, Oscar Isaac, and Domhnall Gleeson. Alicia Vikander's a robot that Oscar Isaac built in a strange facility in his house in the middle of nowhere. And he brings Domhnall Gleeson to come in and give the robot a Turing test to see if it's really conscious or just pretending to be. And it's fucking awesome. It's another sci-fi horror movie, kind of. And I don't know. I think it's still stuck with people. I think it's really original. And yeah. What did you guys think of it?
It's good.
Good.
Yes, good. It's weird. I have a weird experience with it because this is my second time watching it. And I remember like really loving it the first time, and I didn't love it quite as much this time. But in thinking about it, I do kind of love it. Is the thing. I think it's really smart in the way it's integrated. Like I was mentioning earlier with Devs and a lot of his other work. So many like literary references and like Shakespeare and Frankenstein, and there's just a lot to think about, a lot of interesting concepts in the whole. I love the manipulation angle of the movie, and just the way that's presented with like what's her name, Ava, and whenever she's kind of manipulating Caleb, there tends to be a lot of like reflection shots with that show the kind of two-faced nature of what she's doing. It was really interesting seeing it for a second time because you don't know where it's going the first time you're watching it. So it's interesting watching how this machine, which you know is manipulating him, is getting away with it in the like rewatch. So it kind of added a new layer for me.
She gave a very good performance too. She played with almost like doughy-eyed, like very sweet-looking and innocent. But behind the scenes, you know, she's doing this whole plan to basically escape at the end. And I didn't see that coming at all. I didn't see that twist where she would be that kind of a monster where she would just leave the facility and leave Domhnall Gleeson locked up in there.
Yeah, she's ruthless.
Yeah, she's ruthless, but it was so well set up and subtle.
There's a lot of like biblical themes in this movie too, which I thought was kind of interesting, like the whole Adam and Eve thing. And this is kind of strange because Ava and Eve, you know, they're kind of similar.
Yeah, all of the names are biblical, I think, from the three main characters.
Nathan is supposed to be like a representation of God, while Caleb is supposed to be Adam, I guess. I thought that was kind of interesting and definitely not something that I caught on the first time I watched it.
Is there like a forbidden fruit element to it?
There is in Devs, actually.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, Devs, definitely.
Okay, cool.
Devs has a lot of religious stuff.
Yeah, there is the 7-day thing.
That's true.
That it took her to escape while Caleb was there.
How does that tie into the Bible again? I forget. What's the 7-day
like
thing?
The world was created in 7 days.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Okay, I guess that makes sense.
And God, well, I guess God in this movie is like Oscar Isaac, right?
Yeah.
Because he made life.
There is one thing that really bothered me about this movie. There's only one, and it's such a small thing, but I don't know. It's so dumb. The fact that this guy is a multi-billionaire, and he's like a tech god, right? But he uses these little key card things for his facility to get around when obviously that's not very secure. I don't know.
That's true.
All right.
He should have used like a thumbprint scanner or an eye scanner.
Yeah.
Those exist.
I think it's worse that the main character can like override all of the security protocols with that key card instead of having like anything password protected. Like ignore the doors. Like he can literally change the entire security system with that key card. That's a gigantic security flaw.
He just does not give a fuck about security. He just loves these robots.
I guess not.
It's weird.
I guess not.
Yeah.
Mr. Smarty Pants. Fucking genius over here.
It's weird because he made that joke in the film where he was like talking about the guys who installed the stuff in his facility, and he's like, "Oh, I had them all killed," you know?
Yeah, I wonder if that was true.
Yeah.
He says it jokingly, but you never know. Based on the character, could have actually happened.
Another thing I really liked was Oscar Isaac's character. You could see that he was also struggling with the whole am I human or am I not type of thing. The first thing you see him doing in the movie is he's exercising, getting his heart rate up, which is something that machines can't do, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, that's interesting. And also sets up, like, he beats them at the end with the weight. So it was like a clever way of setting up that.
Oh, yeah.
The weapon at the end. Because usually it's so obvious when, like, they set up a knife or something that's going to be used later.
Chekhov's weight.
It was well done. Chekhov's weight. Part of the manipulation of these robots too in the movie is they're not a gray box like Domhnall Gleeson says. They're women. They're like these very attractive women that Oscar Isaac made, probably because he's a weirdo and a creep. They wanted to build the women like that.
Yeah,
it's also important. Yeah, you do. And that's partly why Domhnall Gleeson turns against him. It's because there's a different, more perverted level to what he's doing. Mm-hmm. But it's something I liked about the movie is, like, we talked about movies like Showgirls that have tons of naked people, but it's so pornographic and not part of a story at all that it's just pointless and silly. It felt very appropriate to the story, and since it's about sexuality, it wasn't gratuitous at all.
Yeah, I'll agree there.
I didn't think
for sure.
Yeah,
there's an element to the actual story that makes it necessary. I think that one of my favorite aspects of this movie would have to be Oscar Isaac. I like his character a lot. He's probably the only character that I really like in the movie. I'm not really fond of the main character at all. I felt like, as you were explaining earlier, like the characters in certain things that he's created are more or less just vessels for the story, I guess. I didn't really feel connected to Domhnall Gleeson's character, and I didn't really think that it was particularly a great performance or anything. I found him kind of annoying, honestly.
For the story to work, he kind of has to be naive and impressed by everything.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's like out of his element. He's just kind of a pawn in the story.
Yeah.
Until it's revealed. With that, you mentioned earlier the bit where he kind of overrides the security system. And I think that is one of the weaker parts in the movie, where there's kind of two reveals, where Oscar Isaac reveals that he was a pawn the whole time, but then Caleb also reveals that the night before he changed the entire security system. It's just like a bit weird. Much for such a small... Yeah, I mentioned earlier, I almost think this idea could have been fleshed out into like a type of miniseries thing, which I would have found really interesting. As much as I like the quick pacing of it because it doesn't drag at all, I almost wanted more, I'd prefer that over, the opposite, but there's a lot going on. It's a weighty idea, and you do want to see it expanded because it is the whole film's set over the course of a week, and that's actually a detail I really like. After Nathan is killed, there's another title saying that it's session 7 or something, implying that it was Ava kind of testing them the entire time instead of the other way around.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, which is a nice little detail.
I personally do kind of feel like it dragged on a bit for my own experience, honestly.
Really?
Well, it gets a little repetitive for me. It is a lot of the same thing happening for the whole movie.
It's like a bottle movie, yeah.
Like these test sessions and then take a break, talk to Oscar Isaac, maybe have a shot outside where they're talking instead of just keeping it inside. Then go back to the session thing. Like I don't know. It's a little repetitive for me. And I think mostly because, hope I don't offend anybody by saying this, but I don't find the philosophical elements of this film to be really all that deep. I find it to be kind of just repeating thoughts that I've already had just from experiencing other movies. And although other movies, like, when I was younger, I watched like AI, artificial intelligence. And even though in that film, the philosophical ideas weren't as explicit, like they weren't as explicitly said in that movie, I felt like I was more or less thinking about the same kind of things of like, okay, well, what makes up a human consciousness, right? Like, are these robot AI beings, are their consciousnesses as legitimate as a human being's, even if what they're doing is essentially just programmed? Because in a way, even human beings are also programmed by our own biology, by our own evolution, stuff like that. And so although this film said it more explicitly, it wasn't ever really any kind of like new idea or thought process for me. And there's other media that I feel really dove in a much more interesting way. There's a game I really like called the Talos Principle. And it's one of very few games where like actually reading through, you find all these little like computers everywhere and you can read through all of this, lore and all of these ideas. It's one of very few games where I actually want to read everything, because what they're saying is like so incredibly deep and thought-provoking, and I just love where it's coming from. Whereas in this movie, I don't really feel like it was as fleshed out as something like that. And of course, two different mediums. One's a video game, one's a film. And so you have more of an opportunity to do that in a longer video game. But still, I did not find the philosophical elements in this movie to be incredibly deep, personally. And so that's why it got a bit repetitive for me.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's propped up by the mystery angle. For me, that's what keeps it most, engaging to me. Because it does have that like backbone in the background of the like philosophy stuff and all these little, like the painting, the Jackson Pollock painting is one of his works that he went back to adjust or something. It's just like a little Easter egg kind of detail, just like Oscar Isaac's character was doing. It's just like full of so much like detail in the mise-en-scene and all that shit. I don't know. I really think the film flows really nicely and it escalates to a nice degree, because the mystery angle of Ava shutting down the power and just manipulating him basically and planting those seeds of like there's something nefarious going on is enough of a hook for me to stay interested.
I'll give it that same word, nice. It's just not it's not that much further for me. It's a nice movie. It's nice, contained, small scale, but with production value and some good animation. Doesn't, even though it is repetitive for me, it doesn't like extremely overstay its welcome or anything. It's not like a huge commitment. It is a nice film. I just don't think it's I don't think it's amazing, and I know a lot of people do, and I'm probably upsetting a lot of people as usual, I guess, but yeah, I'm just not like blown away by it. I prefer Annihilation to this movie, actually, even though I don't think that's a perfect movie either. I don't think it's amazing, but
I prefer
I'm more
Annihilation too.
Quick to watch Annihilation another time. Like I watched that twice just because I wanted to, whereas Ex Machina I wouldn't have watched a second time if it wasn't for the podcast.
Well, I find the characters in Annihilation like kind of weak, and I really don't like the first hour of that movie at all. This one feels so much more, this one feels so much tighter.
It's a trick of the light.
It's so much
I mean, there's issues with that movie, obviously.
Tighter. Yeah. It's so much. It's just a better movie, I think. Like Alex, what you were saying, how each time you watched it, it got a little less interesting. I found it more interesting the more I watched it, and this is something that's actually grown with me over time. And I think there's enough that it's exploring differently that it makes it stand out. Like there's that whole sexuality angle. There's the visual effects are fucking gorgeous in this too. They're like completely seamless. I like the set design of whole thing.
Yep.
I like the subtlety. I like the slow burn of it. And there's not a lot of movies that are giving you that. And I appreciate Alex Garland for putting himself out there and doing that.
Yeah, it's not an easy task to tackle something like this. It's like it's really complex, and I feel like it takes someone with balls to do something like this. Like anybody can make a horror movie that's like, oh, spooky ghost, but I just feel like something like this, where the themes are so complex, it's like that in itself, especially if you succeed at any level, I think it's cool.
Yeah, it just never comes off silly. It always felt very realistic, and I liked the characters a lot. Except Domhnall Gleeson, maybe he was a little straight, a little straight and like predictable.
I do feel like I didn't like how Nathan in the movie, he's either like really arrogant and he has this god complex, and so he overlooks a lot of shit. Either that, or like he's just not as smart as, I mean, he's really good with tech, but everything else he sucks at. Like, how could he not have seen this coming? If he planned for the test to be for Ava to escape, and Domhnall Gleeson is like the test subject, basically. Like, obviously he implanted like this massive amount of data into this woman's mind, so she's so much smarter than he is. She's gonna find a way out. So it's like, why even have the test?
Because he has such a giant ego. That's totally what the impression I got.
Yeah,
he would even tell Domhnall.
too.
He would tell Domhnall Gleeson things about the technology he's developing, and in his mind, he thinks it's great. He was like talking about how Ava had a vagina or whatever. He was like, "Oh, this is amazing! See,
fully
and
functional."
like he's doing something good, fully functional." But Domhnall Gleeson doesn't take it that way at all. It's like Oscar Isaac is. He's not getting it at all, that what he's doing is actually really wrong.
Yeah, he's full of hubris.
Yeah, he's so full of himself. And it's similar to devs too, where you have that tech billionaire guy who gets so obsessed with his own creation and he becomes like a god and he doesn't realize what he's doing.
And I guess that doesn't really bother me, going back to Elvis's point, is because they kind of establish that he's having problems with alcohol, and that's kind of how he's given the chance to, Caleb is able to get in there and
so he's kind of like, he's a little bit weakened by the time Caleb shows up anyway. I'm assuming he's like having issues with alcohol, and
he's probably lonely because he has no friends or anything. He's just with these robots all day that he's built.
It's a good quarantine movie.
Great quarantine movie.
Yeah, true.
Right.
And going back to that like restraint angle, I really enjoy the scene where Ava murders Nathan. Like, there's nothing flashy about it. She's just holding a knife and just like really gently just kind of shoves it into him. There's no silly sound effects or anything, no scary robot.
Yeah, it feels really real to me when I watch it. That's why I find it so impactful.
I kind of disagree that the movie is never silly though. I think there are a couple silly moments.
The dance scene.
I mean, that's intentional.
That's intentionally silly.
That's
the
hilarious.
best scene in the movie.
I like that scene. I love how they're both coordinated. Like, just they have the same choreography. You can tell he like programmed it and rehearsed it.
Yeah.
And he's like, this is what he's been doing to kill time. It's just like this fucking dance routine. And he was probably waiting for forever to like show someone else. And hopefully they'll be impressed, sort of thing. Like, that was funny. I like that part.
Now's the time to shine.
That's probably the most memorable part of the movie for me. But yeah, I don't know. There's other parts of it that come off as like a little unintentionally silly. Like when the main character is like cutting himself and like trying to see if he's a robot. Like, I get what it's saying. It's just presented in kind of a silly way for me. For the most part, the soundtrack is good. I enjoy the soundtrack for the most part, but I don't think it complements the movie in every instance that it appears. There's the part where Oscar Isaac is like on the couch and he's confronting the main character, and there's this whole sort of like, hey, this is like a sinister kind of like uncomfortable scene where Oscar Isaac's character is starting to be revealed as kind of like this kind of like villain character in a way. And I feel like the music in that scene kind of made it a bit more cheesy than if it didn't exist there, personally.
It spelled it out a little.
Yeah.
Like spelled it out too much. Okay. Yeah, I can get that. I was kind of feeling that too.
Personally, I didn't find the scene when Domhnall Gleeson's cutting himself very believable. I don't know. I just feel like if I were in the same shoes, I wouldn't have done that. Like, I probably would have been questioning things, but to that extent is a little bit extreme, I think.
Yeah. You need to be set up better. Everything with his character is he's just kind of dull.
Yeah, I don't like his character
because they only have a week. You only have a week to explore it, you know? Like, if it was set over maybe a longer period of time, you really could have hammered home the mind games that were going on. Because I feel like it, at some point that might be something you would do, because seeing what he is seeing is like would be a total mindfuck, especially with how like high level it is. So I don't have a problem with him potentially doing that. I guess it was just how quick.
Yeah,
it
give
got
it like
there.
a month, not like 5 days. Like, really hammer
like,
home
oh my
the
God,
whole
my robot,
isolation aspect. Especially when he knows he's like being watched on camera and everything too. And then Oscar Isaac confronts him about it later. He's like, "You don't seem like you're doing too well. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you're crazy." But yeah, I'm not a big fan of the main character or the performance. Even I'm not sure I have seen much from Dom Hall Gleason in anything else, honestly.
It's a weird fucking name.
Man.
Dom
Hall Gleason.
He's in Black Mirror.
Oh yeah, which one?
Where he played a robot. It was where the like wife's
I've seen that one.
like husband died, and then he comes back as a robot.
Oh yeah.
She gets a replacement husband.
Yeah, that's it.
He's
He
in
was
Dread.
okay in that. He was?
Apparently, I'm just on IMDb.
I don't remember him at all. He's in Star Wars. He's that iconic character. I forgot his name, but he just yells a bunch.
Oh
and he gets
yeah.
shot.
No, I remember.
Fucking waste of a character.
Yeah. The guy who dies.
The guy who gets, who served no purpose in the story and then dies.
I remember now. That's funny.
Yeah, he's Mad Eye Moody's son, like the actor who plays Mad Eye Moody.
Oh.
That really good actor.
Mm-hmm.
Blanking on his name.
Yeah, I like where the story goes, for sure. I like that it does end with the main character being cucked. Like, that's kind of fun. Because I don't like him, and I don't want to see him succeed. I don't like the main character. So, it's a little satisfying in that sense.
If it ended with, like, her releasing him and they both, like, run off into the sunset, I would have hated it.
And then they get married.
Yeah, I really would have not liked that ending.
Yeah, that would have been awful. We were against the whole point of
she
what
doesn't
makes
even
it
look at
interesting.
him. It's great. She gives him, like, a little glance as the elevator's closing.
Yeah.
It's fucking perfect.
Oopsie.
It's kind of strange, though. Do you think she has any humanity in her? Or is she just, like, a monster?
Humanity? What do you mean? Because she's
like,
not human.
No, I know, but, like, that's the whole thing. She pretty much is human because everything about her is human, right? Mm-hmm. So, like, she would have empathy and all that.
Or does she?
Well, she has kind of like dreams and fantasies.
Yeah, it's
like
clear she's conscious
goes to that.
and she's self-aware of herself and everything around her, which is why she wants to escape.
You say it's clear, but I think that's like one of the philosophical questions that it raises, though. Is like, is what she's doing just a programmed response to something, or is it genuine? And if so, regardless of which one it is that different than what a human being does? Right? Like, those are the philosophical questions there.
Yeah, so. You could argue that people's actions are all programmed responses, too.
Mm-hmm. Action, reaction, based on external stimuli.
So it's just weird that she just doesn't like him at all. Maybe it's because he revealed to her that he was, like, just there to test her. Because then from that point on, she probably just saw him as a means to an end. Yeah,
or maybe she sees every human being that way. Maybe she doesn't process people in a way where she would want or where she would feel any necessity to having emotions for them. Like, that's a very real possibility for the film.
Yeah. Oscar Isaac just made, like, the ultimate high-functioning sociopath.
Yeah.
Yeah. I assume she was kind of programmed to, like, want to escape or something like that. To, like, manipulate him. She's like a rat in a test tube type thing. Just trying to escape and doing anything in her power.
Why did you program me to feel pain? Basically. She has her own desires, I guess.
You'd assume if he goes through all this trouble to try and free her, that she might take some liking to him, right? I mean, if she were any human...
if she has the
any
capacity.
Part human at all.
Or at least feel some guilt when she leaves him.
Yeah. If she was programmed to be able to feel those things.
Yeah.
Well, she ends the movie by going to that intersection, which kind of implies that, you know, she dreams and has wants for something. Right. That's like her goal is freedom, I guess, and to like integrate.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Man, we really should have watched Artificial Intelligence too, because I feel like that movie is.
We covered it on a previous episode.
Yeah, we covered it in the past.
Oh, you did, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
It is a good one. That one's grown on me too. When I first saw it, I was a little because there's some goofier elements that I wasn't too happy about. But I think it's grown on me a little. Someone on the subreddit said, "There's nothing to talk about with this movie. I should have recommended another one." I'm like,
really?
What? Ex Machina? I feel like there's so much to talk about. Whatever. People on the Reddit, stupid.
We got a good half hour out of it.
We should have done Land Before Time.
Yeah, we should have done Madagascar again.
I liked the shadow shot at the end. I felt like it was like decently well shot throughout. Nothing like super amazing or anything. I liked the sets more than I liked the cinematography.
I don't think the story called for anything too like crazy with the cinematography. It's mostly just people talking.
Small, contained kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay, here's a big question for you guys. Ready? Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Where does he get the skin and all the parts? Huh? Where does it come from?
Nanomachines.
Does he have a little factory in his basement?
This movie is set in the same universe as Under the Skin. So the aliens take the skin from the people in that movie, and they give it to Oscar Isaac.
Like, he does all the work? Like, if you're a billionaire, you don't want to do all the fucking work. Like, put all the machines together.
He orders it from Amazon. In this universe, they have the drone service up and running, and the batteries last a long time, and they can fly it out to him.
Oh, I see. It all makes sense now.
Yeah, there's things like that you just kind of have to accept. Because if you start going down that rabbit hole, like, just the whole thing will unravel, you know?
I'm just saying, if I was a billionaire, I would not be doing this shit myself.
I'd probably be on a beach somewhere.
What do you think of Kyoko's moment near the end? Like, what do you think about the idea of Ava just whispering into her ear, and then she's like, "Yeah, I'll try to kill this guy."
She was downloading the plan.
Yeah, well, it's like, I don't know, because Kyoko is a character that you'd have to imagine, based on what we see in the film, feels a lot of resentment towards Oscar Isaac's character. And she's probably, like, raped by him constantly, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm just, like, kind of curious about, like, her character, and, you know, we see her preparing food and stuff. Like, she has knives and weapons, and she's alone with him for a lot of the film, and even before the main character shows up, obviously. So it's like, I'm kind of wondering, like, what was whispered, and like what that even means in terms of like just being able to persuade this other character, just being like, "Hey, you want to kill him now?" or something. Like, I'm kind of
I kind of took her as like a more primitive model that wasn't nearly as advanced. Like, there's that part where Caleb goes in to the room where she is, and she just like starts undressing, and it's like, is that a behavior that's just been coded in, or is she just so used to doing it and has the freedom? Like, I guess it's just one of the unanswered questions. But I do think it is one of the most obvious reveals to me is that she's also a robot. Like, even my first time watching it, I thought that was like my first thought as soon as she was in a scene.
Maybe Ava was like changing her coding, kind of like freeing her from her captivity.
She connected to her Bluetooth.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how I saw it too.
If she was like a maid robot, maybe she could just command her to do what she said. I don't know.
Yeah.
She hacked
I definitely
into
didn't see her
mainframe.
character as any more than like a sex slave.
And like a literal slave, just making dinner and clearing the table and stuff like that.
Did you guys, when you first saw the movie, did you think that she was a robot or not?
I thought
at
she
first,
was
at
immediately,
first.
basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did instantly.
It was probably somewhere in my
supposed to be a
mind, but
twist?
I honestly don't remember.
Yeah.
I don't even know if that was supposed to be a twist. It was just like, it was so obvious to me.
I mean, at first, I wasn't completely convinced. I thought that she was probably one, but I was like, okay, well, maybe he has like a servant lady. I don't know. But the way she put the plate down, I was like, okay, that's robotic as fuck. Like,
yeah, and the fact she can't speak and stuff and doesn't like really emote or communicate in any way.
Right. Yeah. I wish they played with that more. I wish that she was more human, so it kind of surprised people. I don't know.
I feel like there was something going on there. Like, maybe Ava could see like through her or something, like spy on them through her. Because she comes down to them she comes down to Ava at the end in the lab, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, doesn't she help her escape?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe she was
She's
just
there.
walking around.
Maybe she was just hanging out.
Maybe she was trying to get like
there.
a better Wi-Fi signal or something.
In the basement.
I would love it if just like at random points throughout the movie, she like opened her mouth and started making fax machine noises or some shit. And the main character's like, "What was that?" And
The
Oscar
internet
Isaac is
dial-up
like,
sound
"Nothing.
effect.
That's her culture. That's her language. Or some shit." Tries to like play it off as like perfectly normal. Ignore that.
Did you guys see Nathan as racist at all? Like, since she was like Asian or do you think he was just playing with the fact that he didn't want her to speak English?
What do you mean?
Oh yeah, there's that too.
You might just had a fetish.
Yeah, because remember he was talking to Caleb and he was like, "Do you have a type?" Right? Like, do you say you like black chicks or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm guessing his type was Asian girls or something.
You never know, because you go through all
And
that
it's clear
security
that
footage.
Ava's also modeled off of what Domhnall Gleeson searched up.
Yeah.
That's what he says anyway. So that does make sense, actually.
He had
that
like
he
a
just
bunch of
designed
different
these
models.
robots.
I think he had a bunch of skins in that closet. So
Yeah, do you think he fucked them all? Or
probably.
just the one?
I'm assuming he fucked
And then throw
every
'em in the
single one of them.
closet.
He
That's
probably
messed
had
up, dude.
a big robot orgy.
Yeah, it's probably what happened. And got him to dance first.
Yeah. I
Sounds
suppose
like-
that's kind of crucial for his character because I don't know how evil he'd be without that sexual side
Mhm.
being shown. Because otherwise, he's just kind of like a mad genius,
Yeah.
Like he's just testing the limits of his creation, and that's the main thing. Where it's like, so you've like perfectly engineered these like sex toys, basically.
Yeah. There's there's a
That's,
bit
like,
more
the
of an
creepiest thing about him.
exploitative element with that there. For sure.
Yeah, especially if you've got this guy here testing to see if it is like a life form and you're fucking them all, like building them to fuck them. It's pretty creepy.
And he also says like, "No, I'm like her dad." It's like, "Well, you're the dad to every one of them, right?" That's what he says.
Yeah.
He said it, not me.
God, that's weird. It's like he actually spent the time to develop like a vagina, like a metallic vagina for these women.
Yeah, that they react to too.
You wouldn't?
You wouldn't?
Yeah.
That's the weird thing. It wasn't just he's making sex robots. They're fully functioning, conscious, basically people, but he uses them for this purpose. It's sick. that element's a little demented. Yeah, I don't know.
There's one scene that I had an issue with that has to do with the cards that they use to go in and out of rooms. When he's really drunk and he drops it on the ground, or no, he's like, "Oh, where is my card?" He's like looking through his pockets, and then Domhnall Gleeson's like, "Oh, you dropped it." I feel like that is really stupid. I know he's really drunk, and I've been really drunk before. He wasn't blackout drunk. He was still walking around.
He might have been blackout drunk.
Really?
Yeah, you could be
maybe,
you could be blackout
yeah.
and still be like functioning. He was kind of like on the floor too.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
I do think he should have put it in the couch though. I think that would have been more believable. Just be like, "Oh, you were sleeping on the couch," and it was.
I just thought it was suspicious. If I was Oscar Isaac in that situation, I would be suspicious because he
Right,
just walks
yeah.
in and he's like, "Oh, here it is on the floor, right in front of you." I was like, "What?"
I was just hanging out in the elevator. Whatever.
But that might have been the start of like Oscar Isaac's suspicions. Maybe he picked up on that, and that's why he put a camera in the room and started spying on them a little bit.
I thought he had a
not sure.
camera in the room already because
Was
those
that
were,
before? Yeah, it's hard to know. But-
Well,
because those power cuts.
he put an
were
extra
happening.
camera in the other room that was battery powered.
Because Ava she kept shutting off the lights
Yeah.
to talk to him.
Yeah, that was a little weird too. Because she said that she charges her batteries through the induction plates, and she was able to reverse something and then shut off the power, basically. Which was weird because, like, when she did it, half the time she wasn't like touching anything, unless there were just like induction plates underneath her feet at every moment, and that's how she was doing it. Like, I don't really know.
Yeah, it's
just
science
a plot
stuff.
device, yeah.
Science.
And it's weird, like that's the way she charges, right? Her battery. So if she's doing it in reverse and she's losing charge, wouldn't that like turn her off? I don't know. It's just
I don't know how that works. Whatever.
The only purpose of the power outs was just to talk to Domhnall Gleeson too.
Yeah.
But Oscar Isaac said before the movie even starts that there were power outs.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
she's
like,
just doing that before, maybe to make it look less suspicious when he shows up.
She was just fucking
But that
around.
must have implied that she knew that he was coming and when he was coming.
Maybe.
And I don't know why she would have that.
An escape. I don't know.
Yeah. There's like a few things in this movie, if you really try to like break it down, don't make a lot of sense. Like, I really like the concept of like how he describes the brain being something that, you know, was like a fluid kind of mechanical substance, so it could like write and rewrite over itself. But I don't see why that wouldn't be possible with just like some sort of like software algorithm. You can still write a code where things are able to rewrite their own information and draw new, you know, artificial circuitry, not necessarily having to be like physical circuitry from like one associative mind thought to another. Like, you'd think that would just be possible within a program, but I still like the concept, even if it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah, and the fact that it had to be like a brain in the head, like, how human are you trying to make these things? It's just weird, right?
Yeah, what the
like,
fuck?
Just computers.
A brain in the head?
It's like, no, like a robot brain. Yeah. Like a literal robot brain.
What if
strange.
It just looked like a brain, but it was actually in their butt? I don't know if he ever said it was in their head.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would up the security, but we already know he sucks with security, right? Like, if you want to kill one, you wouldn't shoot it in the butt. You would shoot it in the head.
You never know. All right, I've said everything I wanted to say about this movie. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah.
Well, sure. You can get into ratings.
I fuck with robots.
What'd you think, Elvis? Out of 10, what would you give it?
An 8.
Mm-hmm. That's probably what I'd give it. 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
Yes.
On the exact same level. 4-star. 8.
And I'm giving this one a 6 out of 10. It's a very nice... Oof. It's a nice movie. It's contained. It's fine. I'm just like, it doesn't speak to me. It doesn't engage me in ways that I would want, especially out of a movie that's being like philosophical. Yeah. A little repetitive for me. Some cheesy moments. Nice overall. I like Oscar Isaac. I like his character. I like where the movie goes, plot-wise, I guess. But yeah, just not an incredibly personal or engaging experience for me. It's fine.
I guess I'm just a sucker for sci-fi. Like, anything that's sci-fi, really. Like, that already has an upper hand on me. Most things.
Cloverfield Paradox?
Oh, God. Let's not bring that up, please.
Yeah, I like sci-fi like this. That isn't stupid.
Yeah.
Like
I like Alex Garland. I like Sunshine more than I like this movie. I like Annihilation, even though, it's flawed also. But, yeah. I'm excited to see more of what he does, and I'll check out Devs, too.
Hell yeah. I like that he really tries to make stuff that, you know, forces the audience to think.
Yeah, it's heady.
Yeah, I feel like we're kind of lacking in that department nowadays.
Or they got to throw in an action scene or something. They got to tie it all together at the end with, like, you know, everything's got to make perfect sense. And I don't know, like Annihilation was so vague and at the end and just like crazy with like a bunch of shit going on. There's like no way you could understand what's going on. Yeah, and I appreciate that he does shit like that, because I feel like most people would just turn it off. Go, I don't know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah. I liked Annihilation a lot more the second time I saw it. Which is strange.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
No,
I've seen all of his work multiple times, including Devs. It's just that good.
Have you seen everything he's like directed or also written? Because I've never seen The Beach. I'm kind of
He hasn't directed a lot.
One. Yeah, this was his first.
Which one?
The Beach. That was another.
The Beach I haven't seen.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, this was Ex Machina was his like directorial debut, I think. Which is a really good first movie.
He'd been in the industry. Yeah, 100%.
For directing, yeah.
He'd been writing for years, but it's cool to see him direct that. And apparently he directed Dread a little. So
I'm happy to see that this was successful. It's not a movie I hate or anything. All right, question time?
Yeah, let's do some questions from the Sard community. If you want to leave your own questions for us to answer on the upcoming episodes, head over to our subreddit where there'll be a suggestion thread. Let's start with this one then from Niels2765, who says, what film has the worst fan base behind it?
There's a lot.
The worst fan base.
The obvious
Anything
is Star
superhero
Wars.
related. Really? You think so? Okay.
Yeah, Star
Star
Wars.
Wars.
Yeah,
Star Wars.
definitely.
Explain that.
Yeah. That's the only. It's the only like fan base I've had like truly horrible experiences with. Like every like all the stuff I've talked about, like it's been fine, you know. Maybe the odd thing here and there, but the Star Wars one in particular was like, dude, I didn't realize it was like on this level. People take it really seriously, way more than I ever did.
Yeah, and you have Star Wars Legos, so you know, like.
Yeah, like I'm a fan myself.
Yeah, you're
so
a fanboy.
I'm saying that as a fan. Yeah, man.
Yeah, me too. I love Star Wars, but then you have these. I just didn't know how much people loved it until like these new movies came out.
There's like, it's so huge that there are like sects, you know?
Yeah.
There's like sects who like this bit but don't like this bit, and there are sects who like all of it, and then it's just like, it just never ends, and they're constantly clashing and warring in its own weird little
It's like a religion
thing.
Almost.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, whenever you put something on too high of a
complex.
pedestal, it's not a good recipe for like positive discourse.
Yeah.
Especially on the internet. Yeah, Star Wars is up there. You got like a bunch of like film snobby type people that, you know, anything Criterion, if you don't like it, they'll freak out. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
calm down. There's a bunch of annoying fan bases out there. Superhero movies, people are really emotionally attached to these pre-existing characters regardless of what the film's like. It's like you're not just attacking the movie, you're attacking like their identity. And that's not a good recipe right there.
Yeah. I don't understand people that love a movie so much that it becomes like part of them. If someone says they don't like it, they almost take it as an offense.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a personal insult. Yeah.
Yeah.
All my favorite movies, it's like, I imagine, like, I don't even have to imagine. There's tons of people that don't like The Holy Mountain, Synecdoche, New York, The Lion King, and I might, you know, be disagreeing with them, but I'm not going to, like, take it as a personal attack. And, you know, at the end of the day, it's like, okay, if it's not for you, it's not for you. That's fine.
Yeah.
All right, next question. I guess we answered that.
Yeah, did it. Okay, Crappy McDick asks us this.
All right.
What are some divisive films that you love?
Adam just named a bunch. Holy
Yeah, true.
Mountain. Something.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize
Divisive
how
films.
divisive Under the Skin is, which is a film I love. But
Is that
apparently-
divisive?
Well, yeah, that's what, like, I was looking up all these lists to see, like, what films are considered divisive. And I was like, oh, I guess that's one of them. I guess some people
Yeah,
really don't
definitely.
like it. The same with Under the Silver Lake, just all the films
Oh,
with
yeah,
Under
that's a big
in the
one.
title.
Under the Silver
Yeah.
Lake's a good one.
That's a weird
Underworld.
movie. I really didn't like it at first, but then the second time I watched it, I liked it so much more.
I've seen it so many times. I still don't know what it's about, but it's so entertaining. It's so well done. Yeah, the whole thing.
It is really well done.
Mm-hmm. Those are really good ones.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna leave with those. The ones you guys said.
Personally, for me, a movie that I really love that other people might not love, it's kind of random, but it's called The Endless. It has H.P. Lovecraft stuff in it, and I just love weird stuff like that. And I thought they did it pretty well.
It's on my watch list.
Yeah, it's on mine too.
Yeah, it's one of those movies where I know it's not perfect when I watch it, and there's things that they could obviously do better. But I just loved watching it so much because it got under my skin. I don't know. It's just one of those things. It's like, you know, when you're a kid and you watch something and then like you love it so much you watch it over and over, and then you grow up and you're like, okay, and you go back and you watch and you're like, it's not as good as I thought.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't
A lot of
know.
those.
Bionicle movie. Yeah.
Bionicle movie. Yeah.
Any Harmony
I don't
Korine
know.
film, usually pretty divisive, I think.
Mother was pretty divisive. I don't love that movie, but I like
Yeah,
it.
that was a big one.
I think the end is crazy. I really enjoyed the crazy ending, but I understand the divisiveness of it.
Mm-hmm.
Gave me a headache.
It's a little full of itself. Yeah.
Yeah, and also, like, as soon as you cast Jennifer Lawrence into a movie like that, you're basically asking for the wrong people to watch it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You
Like,
got
that's
like
not-
the Hunger Games crowd.
Not a lot of
She was in some like
crossover
shitty horror
between
movie
that
before.
type of film and, like, her other movies, or people that would see a movie because she is in it.
Yeah, it was funny how quickly the public opinion shifted on her. Because I remember when she was an up and comer, it was like, whoa, she's one to watch, and how
Everyone loved her.
hates her. Yeah, yeah.
She's just like
But ever
real
since
people.
that press conference thing,
She
where
fell
was like,
over.
if you put your phone down,
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
shit she
that
was
was
saying to the
bad.
reporter.
She had that huge scandal too with like the nudes leaking out.
Oh yeah.
Oh shit, yeah.
I can't imagine that.
Yeah, that would have sucked.
That would have really sucked.
Yikes.
She was in Red Sparrow. That's right. No one saw that.
It's true.
Yeah.
And obligatory performances in the X-Men movies, because she was like passionate at first, because she like wasn't as famous. She wasn't Jennifer Lawrence. So you can see this like transition of how much she cares, and by what was it called, Dark Phoenix, you can really see the look on her face. You can really see it.
That's what made me dislike her. Because clearly, comic book fans love this shit, no matter what it is. They were probably really excited for a Dark Phoenix movie. And just to see her just not care at all. Not just in that one, in the one before it, and even the one before that. It's like, what are you even here for? You're getting paid hundreds of millions of dollars to suck. When there's tons of other actors who could play Mystique just fine.
Exactly.
It's not like a huge role. It's not like something to be proud of. I don't know.
Exactly. She gets killed off in the movie, too, because she didn't want to be in it anymore.
Funny Games is really divisive. Love that movie. A lot of people hate it.
It's a good one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people just absolutely loathe that movie, but I think it's great.
Yeah, a weird one I found out. There's a group of people that really despise Scott Pilgrim versus the World and find it like the most annoying thing.
What?
Yeah,
I can understand that.
I love that movie so much. Oh man, that's weird.
I do too.
I think it's great.
Do they not like hipster culture? Do they not like hipster?
I guess because it's like mimicking the style of the like original comics. Some people might find annoying. But it's like,
There's so much weird things about that movie. The humor is like really dry and ironic too. Like I could see someone getting really annoyed by that.
Yeah.
Like the Bollywood musical number by the first Evil X.
Yeah.
Like I could see. I've watched that movie with people before, and they can't stand that part. They think it's too much. But I think all that is just creative and hilarious.
Agreed.
It's a shame. It's a shame people can't appreciate Scott Pilgrim. It didn't it flop when it came out? It was like a massive bomb, right?
Yeah.
That's horrible.
Too Canadian.
All these talented people. Yeah, that too. People don't like Canadians, especially Americans.
Yeah, I guess Annihilation was kind of polarizing too.
Yeah. No one saw that one either. They
so does
put
every
it on
film
Netflix.
we like, basically.
Every good movie.
All right, next question.
Individual Log asks this. What are some stereotypical things about your countries that you partake in?
Barbecues. Beer.
Firework.
Shooting guns.
Say barbecues
fireworks.
more with Australia.
Yeah.
Shrimp
I
on
can
Barbie.
do the Barbie. Yeah.
Capitalism. Apologizing.
Yeah, that too. In America, it's also like a melting pot of different cultures too. So there's like a lot of things I do that are mostly Italian. I'd say I'm more like, in terms of what I do, like in daily life, it's more toward Italian than American. Like I probably like eat more Italian food and do more Italian things, like going to visit family and shit like that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
America's the dumbest country. There's like nothing that really defines it aside from like what, like hot dogs and Trump, like
burgers, diners.
Diners. But diners
like
are
food,
Greek.
Yeah.
Like that's a Greek thing. Like all diners are owned by like Greek people. Yeah.
Freedom.
Freedom of speech.
Oh yeah, guns. That's it. That's it.
Yeah,
guns.
Going to the gun range. That's the American pastime, right? Going to the gun range, shooting some tires and some bottles with a giant like assault rifle that you don't need at all. It's like ridiculous. I went to one place, they had a tank. You could crush a tank with a car. I'm like, that's ridiculous.
You could crush a tank with a car?
You crush a car with a tank.
That's what I thought.
That would be crazy.
That would be fucking
Next
great.
level.
Yeah. You could drive a tank into a car that just crush it for like $500 or something. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Cowboys and guns. I'm going out and shoot the LMG with the boys, honey. Be right back.
Gotta go to the Old West, like that area. I've been to Tombstone before. That's pretty American. The frontier.
That's the only thing we have going for us: cowboys and guns.
Yeah, that's a very
it.
American thing. Going to the desert in America, like Arizona, that's very American.
All right, how about you boys?
I like tea.
Yeah, you do.
Tea's good.
Do you
Tea
guys
and
drink tea?
biscuits.
Yeah, is tea a UK thing?
It's a
I mean, it's
very
also,
UK thing.
Is it the
Yeah.
same thing?
I guess certain kinds of tea, because it's like, I don't know, green tea. Isn't that like Asian? China or
Yeah,
something?
green tea's more like an Asian
British
thing.
people love
Like
their tea,
English
though.
breakfast.
Yeah.
Yeah, English breakfast tea. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, there are plenty of people who are addicted to it. And they have to have like 5 cups a day. Yeah.
You
That's
like
good.
beans on toast?
Oh, yeah.
That's weird.
Oh, shit. Is that like like an English thing?
Yeah, I think
Yeah, I never
so.
heard of that.
That's an
Bangers
English
and
thing.
mash?
Yeah, that's an English thing.
I like
Yeah,
bangers
I
and
partake
mash,
in all
but
of it.
Poutine, French fries and gravy, and cheese curds.
Oh, yeah, I've heard about it. Is that good? I've heard
It
it's
is
really
fucking
good.
good. Yeah. Fucking do it. It's great. I don't know why other places don't adopt it. It's like a really simple thing to make. You know, French fries and
true.
gravy, but also cheese curds. It's very simple.
Yeah, sounds nasty.
What the fuck?
I just feel the word curd is just nasty to me. Lemon curd. It's just the word curd. It might
Yeah.
taste nice, but it's just something about it that makes me just want to gag.
Really?
Yeah.
It has the same feeling as like the word pus.
Really?
Like
Yeah.
gunk. Like something I
Yeah.
would get out of my eye, like after sleeping.
Is that what it's made out of?
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. You figured it out.
Gross. Oh, Canada is actually even worse than the United States. What the hell defines Canada?
I just listed one thing. We're nice.
Aside from like,
we
maple
apologize
leaves.
to people. Yeah, we got like maple syrup and shit. We got
hockey.
Poutine. Yeah, hockey. Winter
Yeah.
sports in general, I guess. You know,
yeah.
fucking skiing and snowboarding to some degree. Although there are other places
Yeah,
that do
okay.
that, certainly. I don't know. Being nice, not hating everybody else.
Being nice is a universal thing.
I don't know.
There's a film industry now in Canada that's pretty huge.
Yeah.
So, yeah. That's worth noting.
Yeah.
It's so strange how different the States and Canada are, but we're right next to each other. Like
Mhm.
we have like school shootings every month, and then Canada's like, "Hey, mate, well,
What the fuck kind of impression was that?
Yeah, it sounded
Hey,
like
mate.
from my end.
wait,
I'm
what
bad with
do
the accents too.
Canadians say? They say
A boot,
Isn't it?
a boot, a."
Hey,
Hey,
how about that, eh?
I was going to
Yeah, there you
park
go.
my car at the car park, in the garage.
That's really Canadian.
Why don't you just talk like that normally?
Oh, I
Dude,
do.
that's really
I'm
that
putting
voice.
on a performance every time you hear me speak. When I'm not on the internet, I let my true Canadian shine.
Do you ever do that though, where you go back somewhere like this more rural or something, and everyone speaks like with an accent, and you kind of adopt it just inherently, kind of just fit in and make everyone more comfortable?
Yeah, not really so much. I don't know. It really depends on where you are in Canada. There's like small town Ontario kind of talks funny, and like Newfoundland, and yeah, it depends where you are. Canada's got a whole bunch of different vibes depending on where you are. Very versatile.
Very cold.
Yeah, that's a thing. But I don't know. Vancouver is not that bad at all. Vancouver like barely ever gets snow.
Mm.
But the rest of Canada,
Oh,
we
really?
get a lot of
That
snow.
sounds all right.
Oh yeah, Vancouver is totally fine weather-wise. People complain about it a lot because we get a lot of rain. Like that's basically our winter is just mostly rain. But I don't know. Those people either just really, really, really hate rain and would rather have snow, or they're just very sheltered and haven't lived anywhere else in Canada. Because everywhere else in Canada has so much worse weather, in my opinion. Moved away from the cold parts.
Do Canadians do the same thing Brits do, where it's just constantly talking about the weather, just non-stop? Like every conversation starts with the weather.
I guess. I don't know. I think that sounds like
How
kind of
exciting.
a universal thing. I don't know if
Yeah?
it's like a just Brit and Canadian sort of thing. I think everybody, if you don't have shit to talk about, you just talk about the weather. You know, conversation
I
starter.
guess it's easy.
That's what you talk about when you have nothing else to talk about.
Yeah. If you want to say hi, I guess.
Guess what? It's raining. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that's the British experience. That guy, EJ, has this to say. What are some of the most intense and anxiety-inducing movies you have ever seen?
Climax.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a pretty intense one. Run Lola Run.
Oh yeah. That
It's
one
a
got
bunch
me
of
going.
running. Woman
Yeah.
running around all over
Yeah.
France. It's crazy.
Irreversible.
Gaspar Noé really
inducing.
likes getting that anxiety out
That's
of
his thing,
Freaking you
yeah.
out, yeah.
Yeah, it's his thing.
Safdie Brothers
Uncut
movies,
Gems, obviously.
good time, yeah.
Yep.
Safdie Brothers. Eraserhead. I think the anxiety building in that is quite effective.
We mentioned Annihilation, and there's the ending of that movie freaks me out in such a visceral way.
Yeah.
It makes me genuinely like fight or flight. I don't know what it is about it, but it's just so freaky to me. I love it for that.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Even the bear scene before that, that was sick too.
Cool Cat Saves the Kids.
That's the quintessential
Very
one, yeah.
anxiety-inducing.
Fury Road, Mad Max. That one got me going a little
Oh,
bit.
Yeah, very exciting.
I rewatched. It's not a film, but it might as well be. I rewatched season 1 of True Detective, and in the middle, there's an episode that was like on the edge of my seat, even though I'd seen it before. There's like this 6-minute oneer, which was like, oh my god, this is so intense and impressive. Yeah, I really loved that.
I love that too. That was a great scene. Alien.
Yeah.
Like the last half of the movie when they're just running away, like going down hallways from the
I
alien.
even find
that
like
was
the first
sick.
like hour of that movie quite anxiety inducing because it's so slow and there's that score and everything looks so
and then there's
kind
like the
of
claustrophobic element.
Yeah, creepy as hell.
Requiem for a Dream.
Yeah.
Oh god,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's a bad one.
a
Love
great
that
one.
movie, but
Yeah.
it's hard. It's hard, especially if you've been through similar things before. I can imagine it must be really hard to watch.
Mm-hmm.
There's
That's
a few
it.
there.
That is every movie that induces anxiety.
Everyone.
Has
Every
ever been
single
made.
We have a question from a guy he's asked this question so many times. I'm just going to throw him a bone and give it to him. Mr. _ McNinja guy says this. You probably don't know this, but there is a new Batman movie in development that is supposed to come out in 2021. The movie is directed by Matt Reeves, and Robert Pattinson is playing Batman, featuring Jeffrey Wright as Commissioner Gordon. But he just lists the entire cast. The movie is supposed to have a detective noir style, like the old detective movies, and Riddler will probably be the main villain. There's a small teaser, yada, yada, yada. Personally, I'm very excited for the movie. Reeves is a great director, and I loved his Apes movies. The cast is also fantastic, and I love the Batsuit and the Batmobile. Would you watch this movie if it came out? I think it's going to come out. You don't have to worry about that.
Yeah,
You
we'll
never know.
see.
I'll watch it.
As far as the DC docket goes, this is like one of the only projects that I'm even remotely interested in. I'm like,
Yeah.
everyone loves Joker, but I like Batman, like in the universe, to be playing off the villains. That's what I like about Batman and all that. So seeing like a proper like detective one, because when was the last time we really got one? Like I guess it was The Dark Knight Rises, and that's really not like a true detective kind of Batman interpretation.
Yeah.
It's
I would
like
say
a
Dark
Nolan
Knight's
interpretation.
more like detective.
Yeah, that's the last time we got it.
That's what I think this one's more going for. I hope so. It kind of looks neat. Like I've seen some pictures of it. Looks okay. But all that matters is if the story's good.
I'll watch it, but Pattinson's the only aspect that makes me even remotely interested. I'm not a Matt Reeves fan at all. Find his movies very cookie cutter, very cliched. Like just
I think the Apes movies are okay. But yeah, they're not. What else did he do? Did he do Cloverfield?
Yes.
Was that him?
Cloverfield
I really like
and
Cloverfield.
the American remake of Let the Right One In. Let Me In.
Which was terrible.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
Remember
Yeah, I
the
never saw
shadow scene? Like Chloe Grace Moretz is attacking someone and there's like the CGI silhouette. It looks fucking awful.
Yeah, I don't think I made it very far into that movie, honestly. I think I turned it off after like 10 minutes.
Probably didn't even make it that. Yeah.
Yep. Not a big Matt Reeves
call.
fan. So we'll see
The
how it
Batsuit's
is.
kind of goony looking.
I have no idea.
I don't
You
know.
not like it?
It was just some shots that were leaked. The Batsuit looks kind of weird.
Were the actual shots of the movie or just on set? Because they always look stupid on set.
Yeah, it was just on set. That
Oh,
might have
okay.
just been like a stunt double though. So it's hard to know. I guess you won't really know until it comes out.
Yeah, we'll see what it really looks like in the movie, like with all the grading and whatever. That's what happened with the Justice League movie. They Zack Snyder filmed it one way and then they redid the whole movie and changed all the colors and then Batman looked silly and Superman looked silly.
Oh yeah,
Because
yeah,
he didn't design it
ridiculous.
to look like that. Yeah, it sucks. These
Oopsie.
studios. We'll see how they fuck this one up.
Yeah, I guess I'll watch it.
That's all I think. I'm like, how are they gonna fuck it up? How's the studio gonna like rework the script, or like, oh, this is too dark, let's do reshoots. Robert Pattinson grows out a mustache and they have the CG out, or whatever happens. It's always a disaster.
Yeah, we'll
I didn't see that last one, the Harley Quinn movie. I didn't
it wasn't good. You don't have to. It's pretty bad.
It was terrible.
Really?
Yeah.
It was like so bad they had to change the name or something because no one was going to see it and didn't know what it was.
Changed the name like 5 times. It's like Harley Quinn, Birds of Prey, that magnificent, no good, horrible,
emancipation of
it's awful
nonsense.
That is a really bad name. An
It's
awful
so
name,
forgettable. It's unbelievably
cringe.
forgettable.
Ian McGregor is, what's his name? Black Mask? He was okay.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he was okay. That's it.
Right.
Mm.
I'll see it at some point, but I'm not going to rush out anytime soon.
Yeah.
The issue with the movie, too, it was a Harley Quinn movie, but then it started to become about all these other characters, and they were trying to do like a kind of ensemble kind of thing. But it came across like
really?
Big Hero 6, where you just have like this one character you really want to focus on, but they keep introducing all these other things because they want to make more movies and they want to sell toys and they want to market like songs and whatever. It just becomes like distracting and stupid.
Oh no, nobody saw it. You made a solo movie based on the most annoying character from Suicide Squad and nobody saw it.
I don't think the issue is her. I think she's a fine character. She's like one of the most recent... She's probably the newest like Batman character or comic book character in general that like people really connect with, because she was invented in the animated series, right?
Apparently people don't connect with her enough.
Margot Robbie plays her well. It's just there's nothing going on.
Yeah,
there's no story, there's no heart.
If her character is supposed to be irritating, then she does a really good job.
Well, yeah, she is
she was
kind of
awful
supposed. Yeah, she's supposed
in
to be
Suicide
irritating.
Squad. Yeah.
And they have to give her kind of a heart. Like, she's clearly nuts, but they have to make her somewhat normal so an audience can relate with her, even if it makes no sense.
I'm a good bad guy.
That's what's lame about these like constant like villain movies they keep making. It's like the whole reason they're fun is because they're just like mustache twirling villains, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh well.
But Venom feels really bad for Tom Hardy because he's a loser. So he helps him save the world.
Hey, Venom's
Venom 2
great.
got
Don't talk
delayed.
shit about Venom.
Oh yeah, did you hear the title for the Venom sequel?
Yeah, yeah.
Let There Be Carnage or some shit? Oh my god.
I'm so excited.
That's promising.
I can't wait for it to come out.
Yeah.
I hope Tom
Looking
Holland's
forward-
in it too.
I hope Eminem reprises his role.
Yeah.
His credits
Does
go.
another
Carnage!
song. Into the carnage! Into the carnage!
Please, God, let there
yes.
be another Eminem song.
I really hope so.
God, that movie's a meme now.
Venom? Dude, Venom's
Yeah.
hilarious.
That's when I
movie's
found
such a
out
joke.
that apparently like there's loads of people really love it and think it's awesome.
Of course.
Unironically?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. It's not the worst thing.
How can
it's
you
better than
possibly
Harley Quinn.
like the villain? The villain's so bad.
Riz Ahmed? Is that the...
Yeah.
Yeah, evil Elon Musk, yeah.
Oh man.
I don't even remember him. He was pretty bad in it, yeah. I won't defend him, but I like Riz Ahmed.
Who was good in Venom though, honestly?
Venom was good.
Really?
Yeah.
On my planet I'm a loser.
Yeah. I'm an incel where I come from, so I guess I'll help you save the world or some shit.
Yeah.
When you put it like that, it's pretty funny.
You didn't like the 10-minute fight at the end? It's all dark.
We just can't
CG.
tell what's going on. It's just a bunch of goo like splatting on the lens.
But I saw, like, I think on Twitter that they actually filmed Tom Hardy and Riz Ahmed fighting like,
Yeah.
on a green screen, and then they did CG over top of it. So, like, the moves were real. It's just the animators made it incomprehensible to see what was going on.
No, but did you see the moves they were doing? It was like they were directed to just like flop over each other. Like Riz Ahmed's like he's smiling and shit because it's so ridiculous looking. And
Well, that's probably why they
CG'd it.
covered it all up.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, you want to do one last question?
Yeah, let's end on this one then from Matt Make Movies, who says, "What are some of your guys' all-time favorite film characters? Alex, please try to mention characters other than the ones from The Big Lebowski."
I thought he was gonna say Madagascar.
Yeah, I was assuming that.
Yeah, I feel
also.
like how often have I brought up characters from The Big Lebowski? Is it that often? I don't know.
You mentioned the dude before, but
all-time
Not often.
favorite characters. The bride from Kill Bill. Love her. Mostly because I love the movie, I guess. But
I don't know if this is cheating, but I'd say Peter Parker from like the old Spider-Man movies, the
like
Sam
the
Raimi
ones. Interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
As a kid, I really loved those movies, and I really liked that character. I identified with him a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's a comic book character. It's not like an original movie character, so it's kind of cheating. But
Caden from Synecdoche, New York, obviously. Really great character. Also, main Jim Carrey's character in Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. It's a really great character.
Joaquin Phoenix from Her, I really liked.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I'd say Don Corleone from Godfather, which we talked about, but he's in the movie, so he's not even in the movie a lot, and he has a huge impact. Like, you remember him.
Yeah.
And he's a good character. Yeah.
Scar from The Lion King.
I like Samwise Gamgee. He's the real hero of Lord of the Rings to me.
Mm-hmm. Sam!
King of Comedy and Taxi Driver. I like Travis Bickle and Rupert Pupkin.
I really love movies that basically serve as like a character study, particularly with characters that are not even necessarily supposed to be likable, because I have more to think about and they seem a bit more complex. And I like when a director or writer or both is able to communicate that type of person that, hopefully in real life that they're not, they're able to get into the mind of someone who might be like a complete sociopath or something like that. And you can see like these little, sometimes tics, or you can see these justifications for their actions, even though other people might not do the same thing. So like there's a movie called Simon Killer by Antonio Campos that I really liked. And the main character is just a complete fucking asshole. But I love how it's shown. I love how it's presented. And it's a really intelligent movie as a character study, even though nobody's seen it. And it's like kind of divisive even. It doesn't even seem like everybody who's seen it even likes it. But I found that to be a really great character study movie for sure.
Yeah. So I like Travis Bickle too, and all of them. Like the flawed characters, like you said. Barry in Punch Drunk Love, like he's one.
Oh, yeah.
I found him very likable.
100%.
Because he was like, he's kind of, he does unlikable things, but he's also mentally a little sick. Like he's mentally something wrong with him.
Yeah. And it's like there's a consistency in the character too. It's like something that was actually created. That's something I really love. Not just like copy paste lines that could be from any other character, or have a character that doesn't exist consistently in the world or something like that.
This Is England has some really good characters in it.
Yeah.
Especially with the expansion of the like shows that they added on. Especially like Combo. He's like the most memorable character to me.
Edward Norton from Fight Club, and Brad Pitt, actually, both of them I thought were really good.
Yeah.
A lot of Coen brothers characters are also really interesting and fleshed out. The main character from A Serious Man is one that I like.
Lewin Davis.
Lewin Davis.
Lewin Davis? Is that
Yeah.
Yeah, Lewin Davis is a good...
Fargo as well, some awesome ones.
Yeah.
There was there's an Italian movie called Reality from I think 2012, and I'm blanking on the director's name right now. And make sure you don't confuse it with other movies called Reality, because there's a few of them. But I found that one to be like a really great kind of character study in a sense, where you get to kind of witness this person's like slow unraveling, and you can see all of their insecurities and like everything going on in their mind to a really interesting degree. That's one that I really love. Matteo Garrone, the guy that directed a movie called Dogman and Gomorrah. Reality is probably my favorite movie of his.
Okay.
Oh, have you guys ever seen the movie Border? It's about like these troll people.
Yeah, I did. That was interesting.
That sounds
I thought they played the characters really well. That was like really convincing.
Did you say troll people?
Yeah, they play trolls.
Yeah, don't say too much about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an interesting, weird movie. Very strange.
Is this a 2018 one?
Yeah.
It is very strange.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's very bizarre.
Okay, looks interesting.
It's a good watch. All right.
I guess that's that.
I guess
Are
that is
there
that.
any like villains? Any villains you?
Scar
really
from The
like?
Lion King. Obviously.
I like Syndrome from The Incredibles.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Darth Vader seems like an
Incredibles.
obvious one, but I mean,
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
pretty iconic at this point. You can't like not include him. I still like that guy. Even though he's been made a mockery of, I still think Darth Vader's creepy looking.
Heath Ledger's Joker, obviously.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's a
It's
good
really
one.
good.
I like the performance more than I like the character in that.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I mean, the character is pretty ambiguous,
Yeah, yeah.
but the
Yeah, that's what's
performance
cool
is what
about
really
it, with him,
sells
like,
it.
lying about his backstories over and over again. It's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, Daniel Plainview. And There Will Be Blood.
Oh,
Yeah. That's a great character.
That's a really, that's a great character study movie. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's a good one to include.
Performance and character. Top notch.
Paul Thomas Anderson's good with that.
Oh, yeah.
All of his movies, even
Yeah.
like Phantom Thread, like that main.
Oh, 100%.
Daniel Day-Lewis's character in that. Yeah, he's like
Yeah.
really thought out. I mean,
Yeah, I like when you can tell that a writer knows the character more than you could ever even see in the film. It's like like they know exactly what that character is.
Yeah.
yeah, and he understands like psychology too. Like Barry he's probably like bipolar or depressed or something a little
Yeah.
bit. And so he like writes that into the story. Like that makes sense. You don't just have like a random character doing like stupid shit because then it comes across silly like an Adam Sandler movie normally.
Have you guys ever seen Nightcrawler? Jake Gyllenhaal's
Oh, yeah.
really good. in
Yeah,
that.
Yeah,
That's
I
a
like
good
his
one.
character.
He's good
I
in
love
that.
that character. That's a really good character.
Yeah.
That's what made the movie, pretty much.
Yeah.
Absolutely. The main character in Anomalisa, I think's really good.
Hell
Really
yeah.
insightful.
Yeah, 100%.
Really vulnerable, and yeah.
Charlie Kaufman does a great job with that. We already listed his other movies, pretty much. So
Yeah.
It's hard to get like the perfect character down. It has to be a perfect synergy between like the writer doing something good and the actor really embracing it and being good, and the director, focusing it. It's hard to get that perfect character, but it happens. It happens sometimes.
I love the character of Neil Breen in all of Neil Breen's movies. The director as a character.
His twin brother. Did you see he has like a 5-movie
Hell yeah.
retrospective thing? He's like behind the scenes.
Yeah, for like
5
150
hours
bucks
long.
or some shit.
It's ridiculous.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's a masterclass, except I don't think he has anything that insightful.
It's
to
about
say
the character,
when you
though.
compare it.
Just like all of his movies. I'll be
Sure.
learning more about him. That's what I want.
Yeah, I guess that's important.
All right. I think that about wraps things up.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Awesome. All right. So I guess there's another movie recommendation since Ralph and I swapped last time.
Yeah, so it's your turn now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it'll be my turn and then Alex's and then mine again. We'll have to remember that. So I wanted to do a trilogy because everybody's in quarantine looking for shit to watch.
Okay.
Might as well knock off some more several movie things on the podcast. And I'm going for Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings. Hell
Oh,
yeah.
dude, nice.
Neat.
Wanted to talk about it for a while. Haven't seen it in a while. There are 2 different versions of each film. There's the theatrical and the
yeah.
extended edition. I have never seen the extended edition, but I own them. And I'm thinking I might watch those, but you are under no obligation to watch the extended editions as well. Like, you can just stick with the theatrical if you want. And
They're
then
the
we
ones
might...
I always watch, so.
The theatrical?
Mm.
No, sorry, the extended ones.
Oh, really?
They're the ones
Okay,
I'm used
great.
to at this point. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
Yeah, I like the whole 12-hour experience.
Okay. Yeah, I hear it's like more of the same, and I like what it is, so I'd be interested in
It's a
Yeah,
full
seeing
day.
I'm so
more of
familiar with it at this point. I don't know what the differences are, so
Okay.
maybe I should watch theatrical.
Well, I don't know.
I don't know.
You might be
I
missing
might
out,
mind
then.
up. I'll flip a coin.
Should we watch The Hobbit?
That's too much. This is already going to be like 12 hours. So
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not going to... We can, if you want to recommend the Hobbit trilogy another time, then you're free to fucking do that. But
Yeah, maybe another time.
all right.
Awesome.
Yeah. Thank you for coming on, Elvis the Alien TV.
Yeah, thank you, dude.
Yeah.
Thanks for
do you
having
have,
me.
Fun.
Do you have anything
Have fun.
to plug? What's your YouTube channel? If anybody wants to find you and stuff like that.
YouTube, Elvis the Alien. I also have another channel, Alien Bacon, where we
Oh, I know.
Yummy.
me and Bionic Pig,
Mhm.
we look at random stuff. And yeah, that's basically it.
Okay, great.
Cool.
Yeah, if you don't want to be spoiled for Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings, watch it before the next episode. These episodes come out every 2 weeks, and you can listen to them early by going to sardonicast.com. Sign up for premium, $2 a month. You'll get these episodes as they're edited. Also, patreon.com/sardonicast. Also, we got merch. Link in the description. All right. Thank you so much for joining. That was a lot of fun. Thank you, Elvis. Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys. This was a pleasure.
Thank you,
Thank you
Alex.
for listening.
Cheers, man.
Thank you, Ralph. Thank you,
Thank you,
Alex
everyone.
Garland.
Thank you, everybody.
All right. Bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Toodaloo.